I can only describe this as one of the single worst animal abuse cases I've ever seen. More than 100 animals are involved, 40 dogs stuck inside this house, locked in cages and closets. I would like to warn you all that some of this video is going to be very hard to watch. The property itself is a maze of mud, kennels, and anything that could be used to hold an animal. The smell from the house is nearly unbearable, with the dogs forced to use their crates as bathrooms. The McCracken County Sheriff's Department arrested David Howery earlier today, charging him with second-degree animal cruelty, which is only a misdemeanor in Kentucky.
Not only is it emotionally heart-wrenching to see animals, just helpless little animals, but dangerous because it's dark, there's no electricity, you don't know what you're stepping on.
Martin says goats, horses, dogs, and pigs lived in horrible conditions and often without food. James Houchins with Guardians of Rescue, who the group called in to help with the incident, says their next goal is to nurse these animals back to health.
But once everyone turns around, the rescues, which we're not putting out right now, but those rescues will be posting these dogs for adoption, and they'll find homes. They'll be sleeping on couches, not in campers, not in the mud, and they'll never live like this ever again. Martin says all the animals have been surrendered over to animal control. She says they will continue to pursue the highest charges they possibly can in this case. In McCracken County, Kentucky, Jack Kane, WPSD, Local 6.
Well, Todd, this is probably the quietest it's been all night, and even from where I'm standing, I can still hear generators running. There were some saws going earlier on my way back into Mayfield. A curfew is in place right now. That went into place at 7 p.m. Now, the media is exempt from that curfew. That's why I'm standing out here right now. I did have the chance to speak with one woman who survived being in the tornado's direct path.
The chainsaws are out, and the community is coming together to help clear up mountains of debris. This wreckage serves as a reminder to what this community just survived.
I got in the bathtub in my bathroom, I closed the door, and I pretty much got down and covered my head.
That's Jasmine Parrott. She's lived in Mayfield her entire life. With the severity of the tornado, she was afraid last night would be her last night on Earth.
I thought I was gonna die. I really don't know how I made it out.
She doesn't remember much of the storm. What she does remember is waking up and seeing this. Her apartment torn down to the foundation, her car sitting in what was previously her living room. And Jasmine, she was thrown into the woods, still inside her bathtub.
I just kept rolling. My body wouldn't stop, and it finally stopped. My clothes were ripped up, I had blood everywhere. I didn't even know that I was bleeding until I got to my neighbors. I guess my head was busted open, my leg, my ankle, my bone, I could see it. It was just crazy. I don't know, I just keep thanking God.
Despite all that's happened to her, the community is still at the forefront of her mind.
And I'm just praying for all the people that lost someone, because I could have been one of those people.
I was out here earlier with our evening meteorologist, Noah. We just happened to run into Jasmine and her family as they were cleaning up everything at her apartment and trying to salvage what was left that was left behind from the tornado. And, her story is just a prime example of taking the proper safety steps when severe weather like this moves in, because essentially, if she hadn't have taken action and gotten into her bathtub, we may have not had the chance to speak with Jasmine today. Live in Mayfield, Kentucky, Jack Kane, WPSD, Local 6. And the Paducah Community Band held a concert to honor veterans from all branches of the military. I also spoke to a local man looking to raise awareness for veteran suicide prevention. There's only one thought in Dakota West's mind as he walks down US 45 from Mayfield to Paducah, the number 22.
22 veterans a day commit suicide.
He's hopeful his more than 4-hour trek inspires the community to join him in the future.
I would like to get other people involved and do this yearly. It would be very nice.
Down at the Paducah Convention Center, the Paducah Community Band played a variety of songs to celebrate veterans. Local students were also given awards for the Veterans Day essays they wrote. Thea Shirley and Max Manning got first and second place for the 3rd through 5th graders group.
My essay was about my uncle. He was in the military. He just resigned, but he was in the military for a while. And my great-grandma, she was a Rosie the Riveter in World War II.
I wanted to focus on how it incorporated my family and all the veterans in my family. Well, I have my dad, my grandpa, my uncle, and my aunt.
Shirley, Manning, and West all have the same message for veterans in our area.
More thank yous.
Thank you for your service.
I just want to thank all the other veterans that have served, and keep raising kids to
to inspire other people to grow up to be the best that they can be.
2 people dead, and questions are still looming as to what happened here in the Walnut Log area on Reelfoot Lake. People in the area say this is something that never happens here. David and Patsy Gray have lived in Walnut Log for more than a decade and are shocked this happened just down the road from their home.
As a matter of fact, we've seen more cops today than what we've seen in the 12 years almost.
Even hours after the incident, Tennessee state troopers and local law enforcement remain in the area, going door to door, hoping to speak with people.
It's a very quiet area. A lot of hunters come in here and they enjoy the duck hunting and all, but to be upset over somebody shooting more ducks or whatever the case may have been, I don't know. But it's bad to hear that someone, especially young boys, being treated that way. You know, it's a shame that something like this would happen.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says this is an ongoing investigation and more details will be released at a later time. In Obion County, Tennessee, Jack Kane, WPSD Local 6. Well, Todd, crews are actually working to slow the spread of the fire right now. Paducah police have also blocked off this section of South 3rd Street as firefighters continue to work to get this fire under control. I want you to all look at some video that we have from earlier today. This is what the scene looked like when we got here about an hour ago. You can see the fire actually began popping up through the roof. Crews were also climbing into the building to try to get to the source of that fire. This is video from earlier this evening around 7:45. That's when we first began hearing all of those sirens going off. Smoke was actually billowing out of the windows and the fire alarms here were absolutely blaring. Crews had to actually run hoses through the front door until some of the larger fire engines were able to get down here. And lastly, we have some video that a viewer sent us. This is some cell phone video. Many of you likely saw the smoke pouring up into the sky. And I know as we were on our way down here, we could actually smell the smoke from this fire from downtown Paducah. Power crews have actually also turned the power off here to allow the fire teams to safely put out the fire inside the building. And from the looks of everything here behind me right now, the fire does seem to be under more control. Crews are actually now working their way inside the building to, again, try to get to the source of that fire. After that, the fire department will then go in and investigate what might have caused this fire here tonight. Live in Paducah, Jack Kane, WPSD Local 6.
All right, Jack, thank you.
The food is cooking, the music is playing, people are out in their favorite superhero costumes. This event has meant the world to Keith Alvey and his son for the past decade.
My son is autistic, and for him it's all about the delay of speech and talking to others.
Alvey says dressing up and taking part in the celebration helps open him up to other people.
To actually see him talking, and the next thing you know, kids wanted to take pictures with him. And for him to not even be near another kid, to actually be a superhero and pose his hands and do all that stuff, it was just so amazing.
After missing out on the event last year, it's important for the people of Metropolis to keep the Superman celebration flying high.
Metropolis Alderman Dylan Chambers hopes it will help the city and local businesses with financial recovery from the pandemic.
Your money goes up a little bit more and it helps you kind of stay a little bit more stable. Definitely, you know, going through the fall and the winter times too, whenever people aren't really traveling and things.
Alvey's just happy he can enjoy feeling like a superhero with his son.
Your kid looks at you as a superhero, that's one thing, but when other kids look at you as a superhero, it's just a complete amazing experience.
The Superman celebration will have events until Sunday, August 1st. In Metropolis, Illinois, Jack Kane, WPSD Local 6.